How's it going, everyone? Dignified Rain here, or Alex, working on TerraFarmers on part 7. In today's episode, we're going to be working on, or live stream, I should say, we're going to be working on spawning nodes in our world manager, as well as adding maybe draggable inventory so we can drag our inventory into other squares. So right now we have a right click, we get rid of an item or an inventory item, but I think what I want to do is be able to grab that stack and move it into another inventory square for inventory management purposes. I think in another video we'll work on reconfiguring our inventory to generate in a different XY format than we currently have it. Right now it's just generating flatly, like one of our previous episodes. So we'll integrate some of the other things we've done previously into this. But for now, we're just going to low-key get through this. Okay, so that means we're going to cue the intro. Let's get started. I got some lo-fi queuing in. Hopefully that won't be too loud for you guys. I noticed in my last video I was kind of shouting, and I feel like that part of that is with how I'm listening to the music louder than you guys are receiving it. So I think what we're going to do is it's going to get real loud here for a second as I increase it to the maximum volume, and then no, that won't work. I'm thinking about this circularly. I gotta drop that down like that, and then turn you guys up. That way you guys can hear it a bit better. Okay, whoop, we're animating. We don't need to do that. So today, I need to look at my briefs real quick. Where is my other browser? There it is. Alright, we're gonna pop chat out. That way I don't miss anybody again. For the umpteenth time. And split that. Okay. So what I've worked on is a new farm tile and some new nodes with some resources to spawn for those nodes. I haven't added them to the game yet, so we need to do that. And I made a little generator for the oxygen, and I made the tether nodes for oxygen. So I guess let's start with exporting these guys. It'd be good if they're nice and centered. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. I think it was just that one that wasn't centered. Cool. Cool. Okay. We'll select this. Export. Selected. This is in a node stone. And we're going to overwrite the previous one. This one is going to be a coal node. Export selected. Coal. And I don't have a name for this yet. Right now we'll just work on those two. Export the selected. We're gonna call this stones. We'll do item. Item stones. Capital I. I like doing camel case. Stones. Item. I don't know if I can do it this way. We'll see. Actually, just to not tempt fate and do it the right way. Cool. And there's those two. I also want to export the new plants to make them look a little bit better, but we'll do that when we need to. For now, let's get rid of the node spawner and edit its sprite sheet here. We're going to add the stone and coal. We already have that. And now we have stone and coal. So in our world manager, very simply, we need to okay, maybe not so simply. Right now we have a layered system, as I've explained in previous videos, on how the nodes are kind of stacked to create our tiles in our game. So when I press generate, it generates this landscape, and if I press middle mouse button, it'll generate. And so we have two layers checking. And I think what I'm going to do now is capture everything that's in this grid, find a random point, and then if that is in collision with a tile, and it will be, and it's not a collision tile, generate a node. I think that's how I'm going to do it. The question is, how do I capture everything in this grid? The X and Y position. Oh. I think I just answered that. For each, if I collect all of the tiles, and I record each of their X and Y position, then I can select a random X in that range and a random Y in that range. I think this will work. So, let's create a new event group and call this nodes. And nodes are going to be trees, they're going to be ore, but for now, we're going to work on just the stone. So for each object that is a tile, or in this case, a color, we can do it off the tiles. No, because we need to check to see whether it's a collisionable. No, that's fine. This is fine. I'm overthinking this. So for each tile, I need to save the XY, but to what? Some sort of array. Okay. For each instance of tile, we want to update an array. Where do I want to put it? Global, so that no one can mess with this. So for each instance of the tile, we want to update the map array, a map array. But then we also need to generate an ID for each tile if we're going to do this. Because then we can update the array with each tile, add the tile's ID number, and 2 factors, an X and a Y position. And then so we can do a global variable, huh? And we'll call it a map array. I guess it should be a scene variable, not a global. So we'll edit a new variable, and we'll turn this into a structure, an array, and call it, no, it needs to be a structure, the tile map. And then we're going to assign the tile map and we do this in the way we do our inventory, or we used to when we updated the inventory item square map. And so for each let's see here. For each instance of tile, we want to when we first create the tile, we need to go back now and add some features. So similarly to our inventory, where we increase and add the ID to the tile, where we do right here. So we have an index that we're going to loop through, and we're going to set the ID to the index, and then we're going to index +1 every time we create one. And we're going to repeat this. So repeat for each tile. Create. All right, so now in our tiles, tiles. In the tile, we're going to add a new variable I don't know why the tile has a hit. We don't need that. But what we do need is an ID. That's gotta be a number. And then we now need a scene index. And we'll do tile map. We'll add 1 and call this the index. The index will start at 1. We can start at 0. That's fine. We'll do 1. So now, when we create a tile here, we want to assign it an ID. So we're just going to go back into our inventory manager and just copy this out. So change the variable. We're gonna have to mess with this a little bit. It's not gonna be a direct copy paste. Repeat these. So while we're looping, we're going to change the scene variable. This is of an object. We don't need an object, so we need a scene variable. Of tile map index to add 1. Right? But before we do that, we got to do something else. We need to set the actual ID. Oops, that's the draw manager. We don't need that. So we need to repeat this for each number of times that there is a tile. Or in this case, for each tile that it's created, we need to now set the where's it at? This. So we need to set the ID, which is here. I guess we can just copy this. We need to set the ID of not inventory square, but tile to the variable, the scene variable, scene I guess it's just variable then? Oh, there it is, just variable. Okay. I wasn't crazy. Of tile map dot index. Just like this. And then we need to, and then every time it's created, it adds 1. But then it's going through the kind of a double loop. We might be able to do it here. Let's see how that works out. Oop, we don't need that. And then in this, we also want to, let's see, add for each we need to repeat this method a number of times equal to okay, for each child in the map, so now we need to add as well, so we need to add a variable array. Add a number variable to the tile map equal to the tile map, or to the tile ID. So we're setting the ID, and then we're adding that to the array. And now we're saying for each tile map that has an ID, or for each tile map, for each tile ID stored in the tile map, the X wait, my brain. Let's make sure that this is working first, actually, before I go too far into this thought logic. So now I should be able to go into here, check my tiles, which are right here. Okay, so each one does have an ID, but the number isn't being assigned to it. So it needs to be outside of this logic, I believe. Or maybe I'm crazy. Fresh items, that's inventory. Tile. For each instance of tile. Let's go back here for a second. For each instance of inventory square, in this case, tile. So we want to repeat this for each instance of this. Is this different than what I did here? Oh, repeat for each instance. That's what we're doing. For each instance of tile, Maybe that's the case. We weren't looping it in the right way. Gotta launch it with the debugger. Dang it. Tile? Where's the tiles? There it is. No, still not working. What am I doing around here? Let's see here. Can we just add it to this? Oh, that's the wrong button. I got excited there for a second. That's the wrong button too. Here. Yes. Yes, we can. We did it. Wait, why are there so many tiles? Whoa. That's too much, isn't it? No, because it's considering color to be a tile. Because they are both tiles. And now we have to say for each instance, let's check this out math-wise. So if 30... No, I'm not crazy. Okay. That's a lot of tiles I didn't think about. Man. Alright. So, now, for each, we need to set a new scene variable, and we're going to call this one nodes. Max nodes. And we're going to set this to 16. So for each instance, so repeat this a number of times equals the max nodes. So repeat for each how many number of times we just set it, max. So for global variable, actually it's a scene variable, so for variable max nodes number of times, which is currently 16. Pick a random. Is it? Oh, I guess I could have just picked a random tile. I didn't. Well, I guess there's a couple different ways of doing this. I guess this is one way. I overcommitted, but I guess I could have just done it this way and just picked for every instance of tile, rather than giving them all an ID. Now I'm saying for each number of times equal to this, pick a random tile. And then we got to check if the tile is in collision with a collision entity, do nothing. If the tile isn't, do something. And in this case, we want it to do this once while true. And this, I guess this doesn't really matter. Oh, actually, we want to add, if there isn't anything to collide with, we want to actually add to our scene variable of max nodes. And we want to add one. And we want to do this once for each instance, because if it can't spawn, then add another max node, because it's going to count that instance as been a check. But that might mess with, we don't want that. We can add another variable, which is spawned nodes. And similarly, we could say we did something similar to this in our inventory squares. Let's see here. Where we do the index to max size. So similarly to this. So for each max nodes, as long as the variable, and this isn't, we're not going to use a player in this case, we're going to use a scene variable. So if the scene variable, and the variable in this case is could we do the tile map ID? And that could be our counter? No. Spawned nodes is less than if the scene variable spawn nodes is less than the variable of max nodes. Okay, so now for every time there isn't one of these, we're going to create an object, and that object will be a node spawner at the tile's position. And then we want to add 1 to the spawned nodes. And otherwise do nothing. And I think actually we just want to do this for each instance of the math here is bunked, but I believe if we're lucky. Oh, we got nodes. Oh, we got nodes. One, two, three. Wait, hold on. We're gonna go this. We're gonna refresh this, and we're gonna check how many nodes we have. 16 of them. We have the perfect. We have the right amount. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holy crap! It worked. Aw, yeah, buddy. That's a lot of nodes. I don't think we need that much nodes. I want them to be more sparse. So let's set this to 8. That feels about right. Because these could be trees. And so for now, what we need to also do is add the nodes to the collision entities. They already are. Perfect. All right. That worked. Surprisingly. Hey, guys. Oh, no. My chat's broken again. Why is it doing this to me? I don't know why it keeps doing this. I'm gonna cry. Wow. Okay. That kills me. I'm so sorry, guys. I turned on the music. Who is here with me? I apologize. I thought I had loaded. Hey, what's up, Blue? I had loaded the chat, but it did the thing again where it didn't properly load. And so I was like, man, it really is quiet today. Yoda, I'm sorry. My apologies, guys. I was so focused. Well, that's fixed now. Man. It's always going to be an issue. Okay, I got to remember to take care of that. So. we have our stones loading. I was thinking about making trees temporarily to add them to our little asset pack here. And then generating each of these stones you know what I also want to do is for every stone that's in collision. I don't think so. Oh, I just removed the glow on the top. They do look a little different. You're right. So I removed the top corner, which was kind of like this, to make them less shiny. And then I did redesign the plots. Yeah, I thought so too. I also did some other designs. I've got this crazy... Wait. There it is. Engine thing. The oxygen pumper. Hey, what's going on? Keep on programming. Have I ever made a game in Pygame before? I have done some work in Pygame. I've also done some in Love 2D. That's in Lua, but Python and Lua are fairly close. Hey, thanks, Yoda. I haven't connected a line yet, but so I built the tether as well, and so now what I'll do is I'll draw a line to the tether, but I haven't added them to the game yet. I'm still working on core features, but I wanted to polish up a couple of the art assets and things I had going on. Yeah, so let's see here. Where are we at? So we've got our nodes. We can pick up. It has been years and years of pixel arting. I appreciate that. I have a few other games that I've drawn and other art projects. Let's see here. Do I have any of those on here? No. Let's see. Some of them. Oh. Okay. Please don't freeze. Let's see. Here's a black and white monochrome game that I've been working on called Tifu. There's some random stuff. The player sprites. And I can actually show you here. Let me turn that music off for a second, and I'll play you one of the projects that I was doing before I started working on what I'm doing now. So let me see if I can pull up that. Let's go back to GDevelop. Let's close our game out. Save it real quick. Home, build, Soulfell. So this is also running a finite state machine, but let's run Soulfell. Oop. We can run it actually from the very beginning. So let's go to the title, and before I spawn the character, we'll put him back at the beginning of the game where he's supposed to be. Whee! I was doing some bug testing, but I figured I can show you guys this. Why not? And I closed the one I wanted to open. There we are. All right, so from the beginning, this is custom music made for us as well. A good friend of mine made the soundtrack. And then we can go into our game. Oh, there's some dialogue, which I'll skip through because I don't want you guys to read it. It's not ready. Yep. We use song. What are they called? I almost call them motifs, but they're songs that interact together, that kind of like link together. But oh my goodness, I gotta wait for the dialogue to be over. I accidentally spawned on top of the dialogue cube. Ah, there we go. We made it. So Tifu, normally you wouldn't start with your sword, but I'm in development of the Metroidvania style. I drew all this, and yeah, been working on this project for a little while. Okay, that's the only thing I didn't draw. This thing, the ziggurat. Thank you. I found that one of the most difficult things, and some of the things are cut off because I was editing the palette. Um, but I animated like these cool little fireflies. I don't know if I can hit him. I used to be able to hit him, and then they would die, drop to the ground. But I found that working in monochromatic was very difficult to do, and it taught me a lot about the importance of every pixel while you're drawing, because you have to like convey, like here it's raining and that character is not spawned properly, he's like underneath the ground. But you can see here that we have like AI and functions being built on prototypes. You can see the cube flipping around. I got a debugger mode, so you can see what states I'm in, as well as which we have in TerraFarmers, and we have a different patrolling enemy here. I have the goblin turned off, but if he was on, he would stop and start throwing. If I was within a certain distance, he'd start throwing stones at me. Yeah, and just some. In this game, you're going to be able to shoot arrows and climb on them. So here was like a prototype of those. And then that's kind of the basics of what I have going on there. And I didn't do the art for this, but I did all the programming for it. This is Ruin Knight. Another indie jam. This was an indie jam thing I did. There we go. Oh, that's why. So F to swing. The goblins drop bags. If you get too close, they'll attack you. The ground will fall out from underneath you. You can climb up ladders. Oh, I got hit. Oh. Just another platformer. Ow. This one has the web degradation, so you can like break down webs. You can go into that will normally spawn you. Oops. When you spawn in that next world, yeah, Chibi Night, yeah, basically. Let's see. I think it's in this game scene. Yeah, it's down here. Turn that grid off. You're supposed to spawn at the door. So if we replay that scene, we should then spawn at the door. And then as we leave, it collapses. So now we can't go back. And then we go this way to the broken elevator. But if I get inside of it and smack it, whee! Broken elevator. But then I have like a level building idea where you like you go outside. This is just like outside, but there would be some sort of door or something like Skull. I don't know if you guys have ever played that. But you it's a dungeon crawler where you go sideways. I mean, as a platformer, but there are like bosses, rooms you gotta clear, and then the door unlocks after you clear everything out. You go through the door, and then they give you different rewards. When you die, you start at the very beginning, kind of like Dead Cells. So those are the other projects, the main projects that I've worked on, as well as let's see here in my just like opening up my Discord on live stream. That's nutty. Whoop, wrong button. Here's some of the other art that I've posted in one of my Discords. And like I did a bunch of I was playing through Slime Rancher, and so I decided to do some like fun animations for the slimes. Maybe it like licks you and it causes it when it's hungry and it makes you drop your items. I do have a Discord. Oh, thank you. I do have a Discord, and I do have a channel for development. I just haven't released that yet. I'm building up the product first, or I guess the content, if you will. Anyways, that was some show and tell. We're gonna go back to what I was doing. Go back to TerraFarmers. That's the wrong one. It's now called Spry Jeans. Okay, so we have node spawns. That's insane. I need to make it so that node spawns do block the player. So we'll do some collision checks. Here soon. And then we'll make it so that the drone can attack the damn rock and or tree. And then we have the basics of an inventory system. We'll be able to pick things up. I want to make it so I can drag them, move them into another slot. Because this is our temporary inventory, right? We can hide it or show it. And so I guess the next thing is trees. I would like to add trees before anything else. It just drives the way everything looks right now. It drives me nuts. So let's think about this. I think we can increase this number because we're going to change not only how many are spawning, but also changing up their rarity, changing up coal nodes or trees. And so there won't be as much coal at the beginning, or any coal if we don't want there to be any. in the first starting zone. So for now, we're going to hide the inventory stuff. We're just going to move it out of the frame. And we'll never see it because it's technically on a different layer out of the frame. So that's fine for now. And then let's work on a tree sprite. And then I guess to answer, I think keep on programming if you're still here with us. Have I ever thought about doing tutorials in pixel art? I don't know that I'd be very good at that. I've been drawing for a long time now, and I have still so much to learn. But I'm happy to share what I can with you guys. Let me put back on some music, yeah? Okay. We can pause that animation. We are gonna change the farm tile because that's gonna drive me nuts if we don't. Like I said, don't need to do it right now, but trees. That's what I was doing. The trees. And I think what we'll end up doing here is building a tree much like we do the rock. And so what we can do is take the concept of the tree has a top, right? And then we can just stretch this down if we wanted to keep it all within the same design style. We could even do this. And then here, come down. Let me put on my grid so I can see what I'm doing. And then we need to do... if you ever struggle with like making the floor, like getting something to scale right to your to make it look like it's on the ground, what I like to do is I take a circle and kind of draw where the base of that object is. And then, so now what we could do is take brown and fill that up. And boom. Now we have, it's a little lumpy. So I think what I will do is take this, copy it, and do it like that. And even then, I'm not too thrilled about the way that looks. I think it's this. Maybe even how tall it is. So now, that would sit like that on a tile. That doesn't look too bad. At least for the starting tile, you know? And even then, I don't like how far this comes out. I feel like something like this. And then if we keep the same... We could start with like a small tree. See? These trees are wild. We could do it green. So it actually looks like a tree. And then we could do one bigger. So let's open this back up. Move this over. And make it wider. Just by copying and stretching it 2 on each side. And I feel like because it's like a bigger, thicker tree, what if we like don't do that line? And then we can take brown and add to it, make it a little bit brighter brown, and we'll do like a looking better. And I think, honestly, I like the shorter, fatter trunks for our format. And this one we can also pick up as well. There we go. Another thing that we can do, right? So we have this tree type, but then we can also do the for sure. Like there's a chance of it dropping something. That makes sense. What we can do is kind of start layering our tree like this. And I'll show you here how we're gonna make this look different. But so from down here, we can increase size a little bit. And in fact, we're gonna bring this down one. And then we're gonna take this and bring it down. Like that. And then from there, I'm gonna kind of draw the rest of the tree. So I want this to kind of look like it's going around the back of the tree. We can kind of play with that a little bit here. I think I want to pick this up one. And then we can bring another layer in. And that would be dark. The light we also want to kind of have wrap around. And add another layer. And now we're kind of slowly coming inwards. So this, we can move this up. And now we're going to take another one. Do the same thing. Do it like that. And then we're just slowly coming in, right? Because we're going to have like a pointed tree. Looks really goofy with the black. We don't want that, I don't think. Gonna have to figure out how to blend this. I don't mind the black on the outside. Like, I do want there to be black. Because I'm trying to create... That looks weird. There we go. So let's color the rest of this tree. And then work this way. And then the rest of this treetop will be like that. Now we just need to kind of clean up the... Am I happy with that? No, not really. Does it work? Yeah. But this is just sort of the... how I start figuring that sort of stuff out. Make a Christmas variant? Sure. We would start by adding in some frost. Right? Just kind of hit the tree with a little bit of that. Just add white. It would. It adds a little bit, but what I want to do actually, I think if it was going to be more Christmas tree, I'd kind of bring out the bottom a little bit more. And buff up the tree here a little bit. And then let me just reshape just a smidge. And then I could add deeper colors underneath the tree a little bit. Because trees change color, right? As winter comes. Some of them don't even have freaking leaves. But this is an evergreen tree, a pine tree. So we want to kind of darken now some of the undertones of that tree as we move into Christmas, holidays. And then I would start blotting out tree parts, maybe. And then making sure that we have some sort of definition. And then we kind of want to make it like that, and then we'd add like a... some sort of base, some sort of better base to represent where the bottom of our tree is. Or just add to the game some like snow cover. And then if we wanted to go holly jolly, we could add a little bit of ornaments. And then just hit them with a quick little two-toner, letting you know that the top of that ornament is lit up. Or in this case, I'd probably do bigger ornaments. And then come in and just light the top half, maybe. Yeah, you could definitely add a little bit of visual with like just making the top of the ornament yellow. Might look better if it's deeper in some places. And you could do your ornaments square. I guess at this resolution you might want to do them square. Looks kind of weird. But at this scale, you know, the reality is an ornament would actually look like... This is actually a better design element for an ornament. We could go into our seeds, or our radish, and lighten this part up. Oops. Like that. And then just add one yellow, or change the top of this to be yellow. I think we need it to be like that. That's better, yeah. Color the top of our ornament. Add a little something. Now I've got ornaments. Not sure how I'd want to do those. Maybe like that. Thinner is probably better in this case, just because of how small these trees technically are. You can like add one kind of dangling off the edge, another one dangling off the edge. Kind of look like torches. I don't know. And then yeah, I'd probably want to whiten up the snow too. And then add some shadow. That looks better, right? That looks like snow, I think. But these are like whack trees. These are like forager trees. Definitely gonna make some of these trees more rounded. Yeah, you like the tree size, is what you're saying? Adding that bulk to it added a bit more visual interest. Let's see here. We can just start by doing this. There's a bunch of different ways that you can actually like shade, and that's all it is really. I mean, because if we go backwards, right, that's what the tree looks like. And if we really want to emphasize those layers, we could just do this. And then start editing and shading as the tree would be, right? This would be shaded. Down here would be shaded. Had those really dark tones. I don't want that to be shaded at all. I want this to be shaded though. And then we want an even brighter, whatever color this is. Get another one of these and raise the brightness just a smidge. Then we can come back through, and this is the sort of stuff I would do when, like, when I'm done and know what I want to build, what type of tree I want. I go back through, and obviously this is not what we want. We want this to be really scarce, because we're talking about how we light our tree, you know. Trees aren't perfectly lit, you know, especially if you think about a tree that's all bushely, right? We've got this like cluster, and then inside of that we can then come back in with some of these highlights. All right, have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping in. Because trees kind of have these like natural, right? And then that's like a big, if we're just blobbing out shapes, that's like way crazy. Hold on. This would be more of like a part of a limb, right? If like our tree format was something like this, we'd then continue to add these blotches. I guess I like blobbing at least along the edge lines, so that way we can kind of see, okay, the tree continues like this. We have the top of it highlighted. There should be some small textures showing through, but trees have leaves and overhang and all sorts of stuff, and the shading is alive, constantly moving. And so thinking about trees that way and then taking this approach, in the top of the tree, this tree wouldn't be lit like that either, actually. I mean, this part would probably be lit, and then we'd have like one more lit piece right here. Then we can add in some of that darker tone just to make the parts that we did make stand out a little bit more. This one too, just too much. Too much noise. These look wild. They'd be so loud compared to other things because everything's so simple. And so I think I want to lean back though on taking this darker color. Oops. One thing that we can do as well is make these little pine tree things. I feel like these should be purple. And then taking that really deep purple one step farther. Or let's adjust the shadows here and then add that really deep purple on all the line work. Except for maybe the black edging on the tree's stump. Those are fun. Alright. I like that tree. Control G. Alright, so now all we're going to do is select the tree as close as we possibly can and export that. Export as selected item or node tree. And then we're going to go back to our game. Void tree, yeah. Tiles, entity, nodes, node spawner. We're going to add a new animation. This is tree. We're gonna add different types of trees, so for now it's just tree. So there we go. I'm gonna save that. And we need to adjust the collision on the tree, because that's wild. We're gonna use custom collision on our tree. And the only parts that we really want to collide with are the bases. So let's do 3 by 25 by 11. Now we're going to bring this down. To like, I don't know. We'll call it 19. And bring this one down to, oops. Bring this one down as well to 19. And there we go. Now we have got share masks for all sprites of this animation. Yes. Close. We're gonna need to go into our collision masks again. And we don't want to share any of this. And we're just gonna delete everything there. Maybe not. We're gonna also address this, I suppose. 4, 6, 3. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Cool. So 3, 2, 13, 2, 13, 13, 3, 13. Because we're going to need to do that now. This one as well. What is happening? This guy. There we go. Excellent. Now, in our world manager, whenever an entity is created, we want to also roll a random. So the scene variable, random is set to random in range on a number between 1 and the number of options we have, which is currently 3. And we can start adding in rarity. So let's do 5. And I'll explain why. So if our random, or in this case, sorry, variable number for the global of random. Oh, it's not a global, it's a scene variable. Scene number, if random is equal to 1 or is less than or equal to 2, we're going to create, we're going to change the node the animation. By name. To stone. And then we can take this and say if we are less than, equal to or less than 4, but greater than 2. This needs to be 4. Now we can be wood. Tree. And then if we are greater than 4, or in this case, yeah, 4. Which is 5. Right? I mean, which is basically, if it's greater than 4, it means that the only number it could be is 5. And we want that to be coal. So now we have a 50, we have a split even between trees. Oh, those trees are tiny. Okay, we might need to amp up our treeage. What? Oh. Okay. For each instance of node, I messed that up. So here we can say for each, oops. No, yeah, we didn't know. I think that'll do. Nope, I bugged it. I'm thinking about this weirdly. And maybe this doesn't need to be in there at all. Negative. What have I done? Oh. That's my own doing. Oh. Oh. Yeah, we got it. We got it. We got it working now. However, our trees are tiny. I feel like that tree is not tree enough. Doesn't feel right. Give it a glowing kind. What? Oh, you're talking about for the like an outline of it? Well, so everything that drops is gonna have a white outline, but then I need to stick to. So what happened here? One of the things that's happening here, and why we can't use this tree right now, is because in our art scope, if you look, everything has a black outline. So I'd have to, for one, I need to continue this for the name of, or in the name of keeping the art in the same development pipe, if you will. But it's also just really small. And I feel like it needs to at least be taller. Like, this tree needs to be, like, yay tall. And maybe we can do, like, another... Oh! Whoa! What's happening? There we go. One of the things we can also do is shade like this. You can just select the... In this case, it would come from this side. Like that. But I feel like this could use like one more or something in the middle. There we go. And I don't like the way that that looks. Maybe bring that down a little bit. Okay, so there is a tree. There's another tree. File, export, selected as tree. And let's go back and reinvent this tree. Into our node spawner. We're gonna delete this tree, add a new sprite, call it tree again. Preview. Okay. I need to fix the brown, but immediately those are better. They're taller, but that's like the small tree. We haven't gotten to the big tree yet. The big tree is gonna be like, is big. But I'm starting to feel like I'm in a game. So now that we have trees and rocks, we can add grass to the game in each tile set. So we have this grass, but now we can start adding like we could add mobs per zone using the same logic that we've just established for our trees and our nodes. We do monster spawners, for example. We can do veggies, our harvestables, right? We can do grass like this now. Something that I want to add to this game, I think, is I might spawn trees separately. Yes. Yeah, there will be different biomes. So, like, I've got some reeds or maybe some grass that we can start spawning in now, but we can treat this grass like nodes. So that way, while we're designing our layer system. So right now, the way that we have been generating our new use clipboard size, create make this black. So the way that we have been doing it, when we generate a tile, we generate the tile layer, we generate a color layer, and that determines when these two collide, depending on the opacity or the color of the red, to do different things here. So let's say if this collision happens, to visualize that, let's do this and break this. And we'll say that if there is a collision here, draw grass, and then draw stones. Sure, we'll just use brown. Right? And so that's how we're doing this. This system is checking in a downward angle. I'll just make this like a T for now. Okay? So it's like checking down. And then now what we're saying is collect for each instance of this and each tile that's in this plane. And in that case, now we're going in a grid like this. We can now do it like this. So now we're looking at a tile map, right? Top down. Now we know the map is going to generate each square like this. And so now we're counting these squares. And we're saying, hey, listen, if there's not a certain type of square there, which would be a blocking, something that we couldn't build on, don't build on it. Keep searching until you find one. And then when you can, build our new resource. And these are like our resource nodes. And so this is now we've added an extra layer, which is this layer up here. But it's kind of like only selecting things in this layer here. And so now we can start generating biomes on that factor. Because we can say now, hey, if these squares are touching this next biome, say that next biome is blue, then do this. Blend that biome. And that's how we can do blending. Edge blending. And so in our game, I say our, but I guess in TerraFarmers, there's going to be a moon tile set. Outside of certain zones, so we're going to blend these things in. But basically we're going to have all of the beginning zone surrounded by moon tiles. And when you're outside of the zone, you're going to need to create tethers so that you can breathe. Because the colored zone is going to be the oxygenated zone. So we're going to do like pock marks and rock stuff out here. And then as you build your farm and expand your base, you're going to get to grow your oxygen. And therefore, these tiles will start marching out using math to start terraforming. And then you'll run out and you'll drop oxygen nodes, right? And they'll be all linked up like astroneers, and you'll be able to travel to different squares to harvest what they are generating. And so at the beginning, though, we always want to have enough available resources to continuously play. So we're going to do a timer. So when we destroy one of these, we're going to reduce the total spawned. When we break one, set a timer for, let's say, a minute. And then after 1 minute, spawn, do another run of creating these. And so it'll find another spot on this tile that we can harvest from. And then as the game goes on, we can increase the spawn rates and change various bits. I'm excited for that. I think that's going to be really fun. But now we've got nodes. We've got forest nodes. And we've got our rocks. We need to make... Whoa. Wait a minute. That shouldn't have happened. Why did that happen? Let's go back to our game. Go back to our node spawner. Tree, coal, stone. Oh, I know why. I know why. So when we spawn our nodes now, because we have different size nodes, when we go to our points, all of them are going to share the same spawn point, but the tree, the collision box is down here. So we need to move the origin down 16 points. And I've never played Subnautica, so I have no idea. Go back to our points. Go to tree. Do not share this with anything else. Go back up here. Set this one to 0. And this one to 0. There we go. Now our trees will spawn in the right place. And we can't shoot our trees. Wait. 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 What? What? Yeah, your base is your first source of oxygen. Yes, yes. Another thing more sus than the player. You're right. You're right. Okay. Wait a minute. It's like the gumballs. Yeah. The gumballs were a little whack. Collisions. The tree's collision. No, the tree's collision. All right. Do 30. No, we'll do 28. And this needs to be 28. I lied. That needs to be 13. This needs to be 28. And then we can do, let's do 10? No. This was right. This needs to be 3. But we can do 10 here on each of these. Maybe even more. Let's do 16. There we go. That makes sense, actually. Yeah. That should work. There we go. Now we could plant behind, we can't even plant behind them. But now if I address the Z order, we can always make sure that when we're behind the tree's Y-axis, that it hides us. Like when we're not in collision with it. And then when we are in collision with it, draw us in front of it. And I'll do that later. I'll fix the spawn rates. So I don't know about you guys, but I feel like there needs to be more trees. There needs to be more trees. So to do that, we're going to change this up. I want 6 nodes. We're going to spawn this and do spawn. We're going to do trees now. Trees? Max. Max trees. And we want max trees to be 32. I want gobs of trees. And so now we can go back into our world manager and do the same thing. Let's create a new event and call this spawning 4. And we're going to change this to stone. So we can actually just say if we're less than 4 for now, spawn stone. And if it's greater than 4, spawn coal. And then that's just this one. We're going to copy it and do it for trees. And for each copy of max tree, okay, trees. So for each instance of tree, as long as spawned trees is less than max trees, pick a random tile, as long as it's not in collision with something, and create a new spawner. And so we're going to duplicate the node spawner and call this one tree spawner. And then we're going to edit its animations. And we're going to get rid of this entirely of tree, of node, of tree spawner. We don't need this. We just want it to do one thing. And right now, we don't need to change anything. We need to say get rid of that, and because we just wanted to create a tree. And that we just got a tree spawner. Hello? What? Oh. What is this called? Wait. Was that right? Spawned trees. We have a problem. It's not working. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back, guys. 1 second. All right, and we're back. Want a break from the ads? Watch 30 seconds of ad-free, or I don't know, what 30 seconds of this ad, and we'll give you ad-free music for the next hour. There were many things. Many, many things. All right. So let's see here. Max Max trees. That would be why. Boom! We got trees, boys! We got trees! Holy cow, do we have trees! Alright. Woo! We got trees. Lots of trees. I feel like I need even more tree. 64. Trees for days. Okay, look, that's great. That we want to see that. This is perfect. Whoa. Why can't I hide behind this tree? Why particularly can I hide behind that one tree? What is happening? Okay, so we need to set their Z order to their Y order. So in this case, we need to set the tree and the other node, and we set this to we need to do a new thing here. So we got to do a for each statement. For each tree, set the Z order of that tree to the tree Y. And then we need to do the same thing for the node. I think. Yes? Yes? Yeah, we did. Oh my god, let's go. We did it. That is looking great. Let's go. That's the only weird part. Now we just got to do this for all the other variants. This is true. Well, no, because we're doing it by node. And that's the brilliant thing about doing it in this way, right? With this tree spawner. Because that is a node. And we're saying all nodes. And we can actually simplify this and even further and actually name nodes, node group, node, hello, node group. And then I hate that has an underscore. It's going to make my eye twitch, but that's fine. We can do tree and node. And now that we have that, we can go back into our world manager and say for each instance of node group, for each individual node in the node group, set the Z order of the node to node group dot Y. And the same effect. And so now we can simply just now all of our nodes. And then for the ground, we always want it to be below the player. Always. Always, always. And this is... And this just has to do with the player's collision box. So obviously, if there was another tile here... Interesting. We want the player to always be on top. So we need to go back to our tiles and say that you need to go to the player's Z order minus the 100. Minus 100. Minus 99. And now we fix the tree problem and the player problem. Whoa, that's not right. This needs to be 101. Negative. I think we want it the other way around. Beautiful. I can't believe we have trees. Whoa. Oh, that's perfect. Actually. Because we're hiding. Normally you wouldn't be able to see this far at night. You know, when it's reduced, right? And that's kind of what we're working towards. So this is kind of like de-rendering those assets until we see them. We're hiding them. We're putting them underneath the world. And then I will actually hide them now that it's starting to do that, which is good. And we can set those parameters, how far away. So during the daytime, that wouldn't happen. But we want to make sure that our game is running, right, without all of these constantly running. We don't need that. And if we really wanted to be extra particular, actually, about this, to stop that from happening for now, is this. We don't want stuff like that to happen. But we want these to actually be their Y. We want this to stay the same. But the tiles are being drawn over top of these. So we can say... Well, I'll fix it later. It's fine. For now, it's fine. Now, this is why I wanted to do this. Because we're going to add some game feel to our game. And we're going to add the sway feature. And we're going to add that feature to our tree. And now, that's not quite right, but we have some sway. Right. They are now sus. Let's adjust. I don't want them to grow. I want them to sway left and right. And that works good for grass. Huh. Let's take a look at the tree spawner again. You might have to do the trees in 2 parts? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I have no idea. We don't want the roots. I just want the tree top to do that. Nope, nope, nope. Don't play that music. They almost started playing not DMCA free music. Well, we got wiggly trees, all right? And now... Oh, no. Wait, why isn't that working? We've done buggered something. Let me make sure that it's not this sway and tween. That's disabling the tree. Oh, no, it's because I took... Oh my goodness, I deleted that. Didn't need to do that. Alright, we're going to add the... Oh, it can't add a group to a group. That is correct. Okay, so we do have to do it manually. That's fine. So now trees count as blocking... What? Did I not add it? How did that... Oh, I didn't hit apply. Okay, now we can't shoot trees. They are collision entities. We cannot plant on trees. Oh, this is better. Alright, so now that I'm already in here, we need to address our buddy the drone. Because... Or in the planting manager. For spawning... Let's see here. It's in our drone. So we got to go back to our scripts, go to our drone manager, and we are going to adjust our farm plot. Now that I've reworked it, the other one is ugly. Actually, they're all ugly, but that's fine. We're not going to do farm plots the way that I had talked about in our last video. I just don't think that they look very clean. And it's a lot more work. So we're just going to do plot. It's farm plot. Just in case there's something that requires that. Go back to our sprites. I haven't exported it. So it will be in tiles? Yeah. All right. Now back to our editor. We want this guy. File export as tile set farm plot. And now we can refresh this and grab the farm plot. All right. So now we create farm plots as we should. And now our vegetables are all messed up. So we're going to work on that too. So now we're going to go to our plants. Our good old friend, the onion, which is now going... We'll keep it as an onion just because I don't want to have to rename everything. Oh, actually, I can just rename it here and call it a radish. And it fixes it everywhere else. Good. It's not a radish. I guess it is kind of more like a red onion. But who gives a crap? Who gives a... You know what I'm saying? We're going to leave... No, we're not. We're going to... add animations. And we're going to export our new animations. 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to do it one by one. Actually, I could just do it as an animation, which would be much faster. What animation are we on? Onion. Look at that. We're just going to call this plant radish. And now we're going to export all 4 of these. 5, including the feral version. And so we're going to export animation as as growable radish dash whatever. So in this one, we're gonna go back to our growables, onion, 0, add animation, 1, add animation, 2, add animation, 3. Wait, that's not right. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the 5th one is this one. All right, now I realign them. Hey, give me this. So now, as they grow, I change their animations a little bit. And I need to increase the range in which I can target them. Let's see. Right here. So now, as it grows up, we have a... Yeah, I think that works, right? Maybe we should do 24 pixels. There we go. Interesting. Okay, so now our E is not set right. So if the keyboard action is hit, oh, that's because this needs to be 24. So we got to work on only selecting one at a time, but that's fine. We'll do solo targeting later. I'll do a is targeted, and if it is targeted, then do that. For now, this is fine code. I can't believe this shit. We got trees with depth. That's nutty. Yeah, this has been pretty fun. This is a good one. I don't want to make the stream too much longer for this stream because I feel like we got a lot done. If I was paying more attention in the beginning, we would have had more time to talk today. My bad. But I do really think that we've made some good progress today. Those tree bases are going to drive me nuts. But I feel like it doesn't feel so strange now that there is more of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, now that there are more trees, it does feel more natural. It does feel more natural. And 1024 by 1024, or sorry, 32 by 32, which is 1024 tiles. Yeah, this is true. I appreciate that comment, Yoda. It's a good reminder. And for those that maybe be catching this video later, I want to shout that out. Yoda had said, "You're doing it alone, and you've still done so much." And I think that that's really a great perspective to start thinking of as a solo developer, because the reality is, right, that there is no boss telling you when to do things in a timeline. There's no person or authority other than yourself responsible for keeping yourself busy and making progress in your own game. And that comes with a variety of its own challenges, but one of them, it's so easy to get into this like, oh, I'm not getting it done. And I think as a solo developer, you end up putting so many hours into development that it's really stressful. And while you're doing that, you're not really giving yourself any allotment for or self-respect for the idea that you've actually achieved something. It's kind of like, yeah, you're overworking yourself, so how do you measure at any given time, you know? And there are some days where I'll code all day and I won't get anything visually done, nothing like as dramatic as today. And then and it's hard to be like, well, I don't feel like I got anything done. But then today, all we really did was like add some generation, and it visually the game has advanced so far. I mean, with a little bit more tweaking, we're going to be able to mine the trees and get wood, mine the stone and get the right sort of stone, and then add those items to our inventory, and then drag and drop items in our inventory. And that's like the beginning of a game like this. That really is the core mechanic. So, Yoda, I appreciate the shout out and the thought provoking comment. Blue Knight. you were saying adding grass patches. Are you talking about my, like, my little grass? Like the other grass that I had drawn? This grass? Yeah. Well, I mean, much like the nodes, adding grass and everything, like each time we add, in this case, we could do mushrooms as well. And we can start rotating now what's spawning. But grass would be just another node. And I think before we go, we could probably do that. Add some grass and add lots of grass. But it would overwrite some of these tiles. It might sit, I don't know, it might look good. Let's try it out. Because this is sort of like grass. It's just not swaying. We could add the sway to the actual grass. That might make this more dynamic. That could be fun. Let's check it out. I have enough time for that, I think. Oh, we don't need that. In fact, I want to move that out of here, just in case I do need to get a message. And then let's export some grass here. File, export, selected. And in this case, we're going to go back to... I'm working in... For which part? For the coding or the drawing? For the drawing, I'm using an app called Pixel Edit. But for development, I'm using something called GDevelop 5. I know a lot of people use Asprite but I started before Asprite ever came out on Pixel Edit. I want to say that's true. Maybe it did come out before and I just wasn't paying attention, but I had just started in this software, and this is just what I know best. A lot of people do ask me about that, actually. Oh yeah, that's what I was exporting. File, export, selected, into the tile sets, into growables, nodes, objects. We're going to put them in the nodes section, and we're going to call this grass 1, or grass 0, and then grass 1, and then grass 2. Let's see if that actually worked. That's something I've been wondering if my program is smart enough to know when I changed my selected. What's my favorite Christmas movie? Jingle All the Way is hilarious. Jack Frost is a pretty good one with Michael Keaton. Oh, what's up? Gremlins? Christmas movie? Yeah. That's wild. We're going to make a new spawner. And we're going to call this one grass. And we're going to delete all of the stone. And then we're going to add the animation for the grass. So this is where we're going to find out whether or not the objects actually worked. Oh, it did. Sweet. So we're going to have really quickly just 3 different types of grass that it's going to be able to choose from. So now, again, now that we have our nodes working, we can add our grass nodes. And I'm thinking about checking around each tree and spawning grass around the trees. That might be more dynamic rather than just having grass everywhere. Because we do have this grass, right? We're going to go back into our plants manager. And yet again, actually, it's our world manager. Is we need to add the grass spawner to the node group. And then down here in our world manager, we're going to grab another one of these and do it for grass. So for the variable of max trees, spawn trees, in this case, spawned grass. Is equal to spawned trees. Spawn tree spawner. Tree. Hold on. So we want to spawn the grass based on the variable, which is a scene variable of spawned trees times 6. Well, I guess you're not wrong. We'll say 600. This is going to slow down our system a lot. But that's okay. There's going to be a more efficient way for us to do this. But for now, we're just going to spawn everywhere. So again, for max grass, for spawned grass, max grass, now we have a lot of grass. And of course, because of how we're doing this, right? We're not setting the variety of grass, so now we can do that. We can add, so for each instance of the grass spawner, we're going to set the random or the scene variable of random to random in range. We touch grass now. We are between 0 and 3. And the reason why we're doing 0 is because sometimes maybe I just don't want grass to spawn. Maybe 600 is too much, right? This will add a little bit of random, because so even in the spaces where it can spawn, we're going to add grass as a collision as well. Because we don't want it, at least in terms of being able to plant, grass would be in our way. So we need something to kill the grass to then allow us to manage that slot, right? But so for each instance of the grass spawner, select a random number. And then if the scene variable of random is equal to 0, do nothing. If it's 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3. We're going to change the animation. If it's 0, we're going to delete the object. And Then if it's 1, we're going to set it. We could probably actually, let's go back. Let's set the animation of grass spawner to, and this is by name. We want it to be by number. So 0, because arrays always begin with 0. Oops, 1, 2, and 3. So now, there's a grass. That is a lot of rolling zeros. Why is there only 1 grass? How did that happen? Let's try the animation again. We got 1 grass, 2 grass, 3 grass. But it's only doing 1 type of grass. We are going to not do that. Let's try this. Ugh. We took a performance hit there. I can feel it in our controls. And that grass looks real funky. Wait. Well, what we need to do for 1 is lower the amount of grass. It's far too much. Now we got some little random grass blades, but I think that it's colliding with this tile. And if we change that up, I don't think it'll be as crazy. All of those rocks spawn as rocks? Maybe if we pulled this out too. Grass. Nope. Nope. Huh. We're going to actually, for now too, we're going to remove this chest because we don't need it in the game yet. And let's go to our grass spawner and add some sway. And sure, we'll make it crazy. Let's sway these grasses up. We don't want it to sway on the y-axis. I don't like it swaying on the y-axis. Drives me nuts. Hey, yo! Our grass kind of be leaning. It would look a little bit better if they were just grasses like this, I think. Individual blades of grass. They kind of look like wiggling worms. I don't know how I feel about that. And they're not all going in the same direction. That looks like a worm, right? I'm not crazy. Kind of looks like a worm to me. Wait, how did that get... I really like the way that those guys look now. Popping out of the... for each of these, I also want a new condition to move. Hold on. Let's go back to our radish. Something's driving me nuts about that radish. I want this to be a separation weight of 2. And then I want to, for the one that spawns more than 1, move, actually can do it here for each instant of the item. Let's, whoa! Move around. So, move around with voids. Move towards, move in direction, move, let's just do voids. Voids. And radius. Move a position, move in a direction, alignment, radius. There we go. Avoid the player at player X, player Y, in a radius of 24 with a decision weight of 10. So now when we spawn bigger plants, or when our plants break, okay, that's too much movement, and I think that it has to do with our radius of 2. So now when there is more than 1, they move apart. Maybe it just needs to be less. Just when it's spawning. Okay. Better. Right? Well, we don't want that. We want this to actually not be from the player. We want this to be from another... So we just want it to move away from other versions of itself, not the player. Whoa. Did those just spawn in? No. I don't know. That was weird. That's interesting. I need to see what that looks like when there's more than 1. There they go. That's moving some serious distance apart. We need to do this when it's created. I think. We need to fix it too so you can't harvest too early. Okay. That is some fat distance. Stop. Where are you going? I was moving from the player's location, and we need to do that from the radish's location. I think. If my math is math in here. Wait, why are you running away from me? That decision weight is, like, way too high. We're talking about just moving. Oh, it's my drone. The drone has Boyd's movement, and so it's affecting other things with Boyd's. So for now, we are going to go into our mob drone and disable this. Or limit it. So now it's only going to mess with the radish when they're too close to each other. Which makes sense because the drone is flying, right? So we're like pushing it. I'm going to have to address that. I don't know. Okay. This drone having Boyd's is becoming a problem. It might be time to start working on the drone a little bit. Okay. That's some pretty serious separation. When I break items, I don't know that I want them to go so far. We don't need the movement logic anymore for him. We need to go back to our planting manager and discuss how we are avoiding the radish. Maybe it has something to do with these 2, 0, 0. I don't know. Fiddle with these. Okay. That looks fine. There was 2 in that pile. So now we have some settings to adjust here in the radish. And let's just do a cohesion of 2 all the way around it. Maybe that'll help. Because I just want them to move slightly away from each other. Like, it shouldn't be... There. Yes! Exactly. That is what I wanted. That looks right. In my opinion, like... Okay, what's going on here? There we go. I think... Let's try this again. Grow up our radish. Beat it up. That was 1. Let's grow another radish and beat it up. Oh, no! I picked it up. Okay, that's a monster radish. It's not going to help us any. That's a monster radish. There. That is so satisfying. That's so satisfying. And now, when we have more than... If we put them all in a pile, they spread out. I love that. I'm going to address the way that the plot looks a little bit later, add some texture variation, but now it's more clear. For sure. Stocks? What do you mean? Stacks. They do stack. Right there. What do you mean by stacks? Like they'll join into a stack? Oh, a drop. Yeah. So that's actually really easy to do. And I already have the backbone for it. So check this out. Right now in our item, we have a quantity of 1. And let's say I change this to, I'll just change it to 5, right? When I pick up this item now, I get a quantity of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I already have stacks as an option. And all we need to do is when we drop something, change the quantity of it, as well as, like, so rather than create, so I don't have to create more of them, I could just create a higher quantity. And that random number that we're generating, when we're doing random, we could just be changing the random number as the quantity of. So for each number of quantity, create that many. But right now, with the logic that I just did, we have the issue of every time I pick this item up and I drop it, I'm going to get 5 more. Because we're not doing it on an independent level. We're doing it for all of them. But that's why it's set to 1. So we can add stacks later, yes. This little grass moving around. I don't know how I feel about it. If there was all like this, not a big deal. Yeah, no problem, Yoda. So yeah, I think that the next step in our development process for our next video is going to be allowing myself to hit nodes to drop resources and make sure that they're configured correctly. So trees will only drop trees, and we'll shake it just like we do with the farming for now. And then we'll add more logic into actually shooting it with our drone or something. Bloop. That looks great. Wow, what a day. I feel like we made quite a lot of progress today. And now we can randomly generate underneath still, just to mix up the terrain. We've got trees, we got rocks. This is good. I really like this. So yeah, more to come, guys. I think that I'm gonna pause right there. I need to think. We're almost to the 3-hour mark, and I think that that's probably enough for this video. So yeah, thank you guys all for stopping in, and I hope that this has been enlightening and or at least enlightening in yeah, or at least fun to watch. I don't know. Hope you guys had a good time. I know I did. So thank you guys. Yeah, and actually, yeah, Merry Christmas Eve, guys, and Merry Christmas. I won't be on tomorrow for the holidays. So thank you guys so much for stopping in, and that means it's time to roll the outro.